Welcome to Photographic Therapy. It's me, Bernie, the dad you wish you had, and film daddy himself, Mike Lazo.
No, not a film daddy.
You're a film daddy, man.
Hey, but it's good to have you back here on the podcast because if you don't know, Bernie's the reason why we started Photographic Therapy, and he is the original host. So I'm just so glad to have him back today.
Hey, man, you know what? I'm glad to be back. It was a long few months, but dealing with stuff, but back to its original plan. Let's go.
Yeah, man, awesome. I'm so glad to have you here. We were actually supposed to have another special guest. We're gonna have them next month, but he wanted to be on that correlating to a showcase he's gonna have. But I'm actually glad that I think Bernie and we need a little episode, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the analog world, what's going on, and all the cool stuff that's going on in the analog world.
Absolutely, man. One thing, it's really addictive. Right. Because once you get started, it's hard to let go. You know, the elephant in the room is one of the elephants in the room, anyways, is that it's expensive.
Yeah.
Film. I'm gonna pull the old dude on you guys and say, man, back in the day, I used to pay.
Let us have it, because this is what you guys don't know. This is one of the. I love helping people with photography, but my favorite thing is actually learning from my coworkers, and especially people that have been in the industry. For me, when I think about Bernie, he is really like a mentor to me, and I've been able to grow here so much in these last 2.5 years.
Oh man, you're too much, dude.
Yeah, and the other thing that I love is just hearing you talk, because you really, and for us, it's not about like overselling people.
Oh sure, sure.
First of all, for us, it's like really setting up people with the right solution. But when it comes to analog, no matter what age, it's always cool to see you in an interaction when whether if it's a young person, my age, or even younger, some of the newer generation, like 16 to 18 coming in, they want to buy a film camera, and you're helping them out, and you're treating them like they're your nephew or your family, and you're really guiding them, and their eyes get really big when you're really sharing all this cool knowledge of this golden knowledge that I like to call.
Oh man, you know what it is? It's because I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed it. It was my roots, man.
Yeah.
I got burned from day one because the guy who mentored me, he's no longer around. Started me with the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
So when I started doing the photo stuff, especially the business end of it, I cut my teeth on it, man. I shot 2 Hasselblad 500s and a Nikon F3 and a Leica M6.
Started with the big guns.
I didn't have a choice, man. I wanted to make money.
Yeah, that was funny. You were told someone that the other day. They asked you, "What did you start on?" And he's like, "Film." He's like, "Why?" I didn't have a choice. That's all that was around. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was no digital cameras at the point,
dude. It was funny because I was doing not commercial headshots, but I would do business headshots, right? Mm-hmm. And my business headshots were either shot on my Leica M6 or my Nikon F3, right? And what it would run on was 2 rolls or 1 or 2 rolls of Portra, or back then VPS, which became Portra, and I would pay $7.99 for Portra 160. And then go to a lab, right?
It's like $20 now.
Right. And then I would go to a lab and I would pay $14 to get it developed. And not only that, I would tell the lab, hey, print for skin and give me, 4x6 matte copies. And they would charge me like $16.99, and I'd be like, that's highway robbery.
Oh my God.
That's highway robbery.
Yeah.
And now I wish it was back to that, man.
It's so expensive. And why do you think we're at where we're at right now with this? I know there's a resurgence of film, but why do you think, for a lot of people, they don't understand why the prices are so high. For somebody like me that's kind of new, I've been shooting for about 5.5 years. I kind of was picking up Portra like at $10. Some of the new kids didn't know it was that cheap, so they don't care, right? It's not they don't care, they just don't know,
right? But
for someone that obviously you've been in the industry for so long, and people that I've been seeing a lot of comments on the internet and different YouTube channels and different things of like, man, every Kodak is driving up these prices, and they're even having these conversations. I don't know if I'm gonna keep on shooting analog anymore.
Sure.
And
and I still trip out because you've got kids coming in here And I know some of these kids don't got jobs or they're working as baristas, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll take 2 rolls of Portra 400 and it's $42. And to them, it's nothing. It's like, here's my debit card or here's $45. You know, it's like, I'd be like, I'm sitting there looking at it. God, it's like, it doesn't matter to you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I tell kids nowadays when they first start off, it's like, if you've never shot film before, shoot the black and white, man. I've got rolls of, what's our
HP, Ilford, obviously. We got all the cool.
the Kent mirror.
The Kent mirror.
The Kent mirror's $7 a roll.
Yeah.
I said, cut your teeth on that. Check it out.
Apparently, it's leftover HP5. I think it might be true.
Nah, I don't think so because I've developed both, and the backing on HP5 is thicker. Yeah, it could be the same, maybe the same emulsion. But I've developed them both. There's a slight difference. Kent mirror's a little thinner.
Hey, just to address one of the elephants in the room, because I think we got a couple to address. Obviously, the new Nikon ZF. Can I still wear this hat, film photographer, if I own one of these?
Only because you have a film lens on there.
But going back to, Kodak, I think is what their goal is they're trying to add up to 500 more workers in their factory. Obviously, they went back. If you can kind of. A lot of people don't know they went bankrupt. Do you remember those times? What were those times like? Of course. I remember when it first started, and they discontinued Kodachrome. And an LA reporter actually called my store because I was the store manager at the store I was working at that time. That's awesome.
Props to Tuttle Cameras.
Shout out to Long Beach.
Yeah. And and he goes, hey, what do you think about this? I said, well, at that time, I said, most people aren't even going to know what Kodachrome is, right? And you'd have to be 70 or older to know what Kodachrome.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was until Charlie brought it up and he printed the article for me,
Right. And that, I mentioned that, and I just mentioned that in passing. He quoted me on it, man. I'm immortalized in the LA Times as saying
nice.
saying that you have to be 7 years. So I had friends of mine calling me who were old. It's like, oh, yes, I'm old, huh?
Yeah. I wouldn't say, you don't look your age, man.
No, not me. They were saying they were old.
Oh, they were all okay. My bad.
Yeah. No, and I said, well, no, it's one of those things. That's, again, next elephant in the room. Kodachrome chemistry sucked.
Yeah.
It was a great emulsion. It was beautiful. You ask any dude that shot that stuff.
Yeah.
25 or Kodachrome 64, any of those emulsions, they were beautiful. And they translated beautifully when you printed them, but to get them developed was just rotten.
I've tried to replicate some Lightroom presets that look pretty close, and I even bought Ted Forbes, The Art of Photography, one of my favorite YouTube channels actually. Mm-hmm. He actually replicated in a way. I don't think you can, in my personal opinion, you can replicate film. The aesthetic of it. No matter how hard you try in digital. No. In my personal opinion, you can never replicate film. You can't. It's film. Like if you're gonna shoot 35 millimeter, it's got its character. 120. I'm learning that 4x5 and 5x7 large format even has its own amazing character. But you can come close to a similar edit and stuff like that. And I bought those presets and I've created my own, and they come pretty close. But man, I always think to myself, and I'm like, and I always tweeted, and I'm like, man, it would have been cool to be alive to shoot Kodachrome. But like you said, it was incredibly terrible for the environment.
It was terrible for the environment, but if you made a Type R print or a Cibachrome, dude, nothing compares to that. Some stuff comes close, but nothing compares to it. I get kids all the time saying, you mentioning the film looks is, how do I get that black and white film look? How do I do that the best way? Yeah. And my direct answer is shoot a film camera.
Yeah, I know. Just exactly. That's sometimes when they're because you can come pretty close, and there's some systems like, for example, Fuji has a very incredible way of embracing grain in the digital form.
Right. It's that X-Trans sensor.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm actually enjoying the Nikon ZF, believe it or not. I guess people are probably going to disown me and be like, take off the hat now, But it's cool. No, but man. One of the things that I love, I was just like, people ask me, hey, how can I replicate? I was like, man, you just got to really, if you want to replicate the real film look, just pick up a film camera. Right. Start off with the point and shoot. Start off with an SLR, and just start there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Shoot a roll black and white. Shoot a roll color. You'll get it developed and start there. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's getting less. It's way less expensive now if you learn how to develop it yourself. But again, learning to do that responsibly is also a big deal, right?
What does that look like in that responsibility? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Well, when you develop your film, you can get the chemistry. You can get it from here at the Houston Camera Exchange, right? You can get the C41 chemistry. Is to once you're done developing with your chemistry, try not to pour it down the sink. Try to one of the things I like to do is I like to use kitty litter, right? Pour it into the kitty litter and do it that way. I don't know if that's good or not, but I was told that that's one proper way to do it. But try not to pour stuff down the sink. I know, just keep in mind that C41 chemistry, just a cap full of C41 chemistry jacks up 1,000 gallons of seawater.
Wow, that's something that I was completely
that's
unaware
what
of.
I was told that. I don't know if that's true or not, but I was told that. But the people who do these labs who do process it do get rid of their chemistry or dispose of their chemistry responsibly.
Oh, they should be, right?
Yeah, they should be. That's very important. But on the other side of that, where it is expensive to get it developed, you'll be able to develop it yourself. Black and white now is one step. I still got old people coming in here tripping out thinking I don't have to do 3 steps anymore. No, you don't. You just have one chemical.
Yeah, right? Like I know that's actually the easiest way I know how to do it. I know it in monobath, but obviously there's more creative ways, the 3-step process in different ways. Yeah. But we do sell that chemistry here, and it's available, at a lot of camera stores now.
Yeah.
So with the resurgence of film and
it's easy, and it goes from $25 a roll or so to $1 a roll. Yeah. Sometimes $1.50 a roll, depending on how much you spend on chemistry. But that's for black and white. C41 chemistry goes to developing becomes $2 a roll versus $25 a roll.
One of the things that I appreciate about that process is it's a whole experience, man.
Yeah,
it's a really unique experience.
Absolutely, because step 1 through step 30, it's all you, man.
Yeah,
with the digital camera, and like I said, I'm not spitting on digital because I shoot a ZF2, man.
It's important. It has its place in the
absolutely
industry, right?
It's just that when you shoot a film camera, right, from making the exposure, understanding the exposure, to making that exposure come out onto the emulsion, and taking that emulsion and whether printing it in the darkroom or scanning it, it's all you. The input has nothing to do with a computer process.
I find it truly therapeutic, to tell you the truth. It's one of my favorite things about shooting film.
That's the only reason I do it. It's therapeutic. I'm not doing it for the aesthetic. The aesthetic to me has always been there. I've always done it.
Right.
So for me, it's therapeutic.
Some people do it for the aesthetic, though.
If you do it for the aesthetic, I mean, it's all good. Yeah. But and it does. It gets addictive, and I see it with the kids coming into the store and stuff. They want these old cameras. They're looking at our dead cameras up here that we have for that people get to touch.
Yeah.
They go, how much is this? I says, well, it's $5, but it's broken.
Yeah, I know. So do you think it's really important for like everyone to at least develop, a one or a couple rolls if they're shooting film, especially for like people like me and this new generation that's coming up, and
not just one roll. I think everybody should develop their film. It gives you more of a sense of completion because there's no middleman.
Right.
It literally was all you. So when you say that's all you, man, it is all you, because from exposure to development, it's all you.
One of the things that you were telling me, and I've also heard this too from Grady Carter and other people, like that those dodge and burn tools that are in Photoshop and Lightroom, you were doing that physically in the darkroom.
Right. And you had to learn it, going back to working the way Ansel Adams did, using that type of photography and using that type of learning how to burn and dodge. His negatives were, if you ever tried to print his negatives direct, they sucked because the way he shot it was the zone.
That's so funny.
No, because the way he shot
his photographer all the time. Yeah,
right. Because the way he shot was with the zone system.
Okay,
right.
And
the zone system, he based it on how much time he was going to spend in the darkroom burning and dodging pieces of what he did. So. And you can also incorporate that into digital photography as well.
In that zone system, you're talking about the middle gray to
zero to 15. Zero being white, 15 being black, right, and everything in between,
and everything
marking marking.
I've been learning a little bit about that, and that's very interesting because if you can learn that, you can also learn how to meter properly.
Correct.
Yeah, in a
and
way.
and like I said, the negatives, if you shoot in zone,
Yeah.
the way it's supposed to be, if you print those negatives directly, they're not going to look as good because they're meant to. I need to put 2 seconds here to get this to zone 4. I need to put 4 seconds here to get this to zone 1.
Yeah.
And dude, you got test prints that you're throwing out until you find okay, that's it right there.
And in our community here in Houston, man, there's a lot of there obviously there's been a lot of high school students, college students, places like Flats. They got a community darkroom. These are places you can go to and also to learn how to develop your own prints and stuff like that. But we sell the chemistry here if you guys need it. I think it's really important. I think.
And the processing equipment too, right? We got tanks and everything else. The only thing we don't have, we have a couple of views enlargers, but we do also sell the DSLR scanning stuff.
Yeah, we started carrying the negative supply stuff, right? Which
Absolutely.
is really neat.
Yeah.
I got my take on DSLR scanning versus going to a lab with the Narutsus, but if you are trying to save money in the long run, it will save you money. And it's a pretty neat process as well.
It's always about output.
Yeah,
it's always about output, right? And I tell people, it's like I like DSLR scanning, or we call it DSLR or mirrorless scanning or medium format camera scanning or whatever. But if the Noritsu and the Frontiers and all those guys do a really clean scan.
Yeah.
When that really clean scan comes out, in my opinion, it makes it digital. It looks digital.
Oh yeah, at that point,
it's a little clean. When you do a DSLR scan, or if you do or that kind of scan, or even a lower quality scan, it looks like film, because when you print it in the darkroom, you were scanning. You were scanning with a piece of light and a lens.
Yeah.
You're kind of doing that, but then there's a manipulation when it comes into these scanners, the Frontiers and the Frontiers and the Noritsus.
Yeah.
And they look beautiful, right?
They do.
And the funny part is that sometimes the truth doesn't come out with those. And let me tell you, this is my opinion,
right?
Because you could jack up your exposure, and that Noritsu and Frontier will fix it.
Yeah,
it'll fix it. It'll fix it up to 8 stops, and you're looking at it going, "Oh, okay, I'm okay."
Yeah, because and also too, there's a person. What a lot of people don't know is that there's someone in those labs actually correcting your mistakes or my mistakes. Really, making my stuff look good, probably more than what it actually really is.
Props to Uni
to Eunice that she does a lot of that. And props to any of the labs that are doing that.
Right.
People don't understand that, but. Well, let's talk a little bit about
Hey, hold on, and that's going to go to this what I just said, right? Because now it's not all you anymore; it's you in the lab, right? Because there's somebody who's making your picture look good. So when you go from step 1 of developing to scanning it yourself to everything, it's all you.
Yeah, you have, I guess, complete creative control of what you're doing.
Correct.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Which is really interesting of that. What I mean. Do you think it's here for the other thing that we obviously? Do you think it's here to stay? I mean,
it's a hard call. I don't think it's ever going to really go away. There's going to be a hard course. Even if the chemistry goes away or the emulsions go away, you're going to get people trying to make their own emulsions. You're going to have people trying to make their own chemistry. You can use coffee.
We're starting to see these signs like Leica reintroducing the M6.
Yeah, right.
We're starting to see.
Here's one. Check this out.
I know first Pentax 17 is out, right? But you can see where Pentax is kind of like, I guess, aiming for like this newer generation with this camera.
I see.
It's a little pricey in my opinion. I still might pick it up.
Yeah.
But you can also pick up Kodak's $50 camera for a half frame camera, or an Olympus pen.
Or Mint is coming out with their camera, the Rolly.
Right.
So
the Rolly is that
autofocus, right? Right.
So we're addressing these elephants in the room. Who else? So in Pentax, I think it's planned to come out with 2 more cameras, is what they're saying.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. What do you think about what is the future for film hold?
You know what? I've never stopped. So it's funny. I've kept it going. I've been shooting since I was in my 20s. So
yeah, I'd like to call you guys the OGs. For OGs like you, it never really went away.
Yeah, it never really went away. I mean, there was a point where I did like everybody else at the convergence of digital. It's like I started shooting digital, but I still had my film cameras that I shot film with. that
Right.
I did for more relaxing purposes. It taught me something really that was really important. When you shoot digital, specifically as you're living your life, a lot of you young folks will shoot it, and you keep looking at it. Even on your phone, you shoot your picture, you look at it, you manipulate it. If you want to live your life, shoot a film camera. The reason being is because you shoot it and you put it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the delayed gratification, right?
Yeah, that's another thing too. You don't get that, because we live in a world where it's so instant.
Yeah,
Everything is instant.
instant gratification. The minute I want to see what happens,
Instagram.
right?
We get new music every Friday in our social, in your Apple Music or Spotify or whatever.
Absolutely,
YouTube.
absolutely.
So that comes down also to where people, I feel, and that can be a whole different topic for another. I heard this YouTuber were like, everybody is creating content versus art. And
Right.
versus meaningful, and that can apply that to photography as well too.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, you have come up with the most prolific stuff. I watch your stuff. I see your shooting in awe, whether it's digital or
Thank you.
or
Thank you.
analog.
I learned from you guys.
No, because your take on it is so genuine. It's it's whether it's what you're shooting, you're actually shooting your surroundings. You're not just sitting there shooting sunsets and all this other stuff. You're shooting what's around you, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
You're shooting what's around you, and that's a style of shooting. That's that's street photography, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I definitely do like to just document my life and the things that I'm into. You know what I mean? And my
Right.
neighborhood,
So-
the places I grew up, and stuff like that, for sure.
Well, because that gives us a peek into somebody's life, and that's what I like about photography. I mean, not to dog on shooting pictures of flowers and shooting pictures of landscapes and stuff.
Right.
That's fantastic also. But when it comes to the artistry and understanding, you can also document and show artistry in it at the same time,
Yeah.
right? Of course, that was founded by Bresson. Henry Cartier-Bresson.
One of the greatest. Of all time.
The founder of photojournalism, right?
What? Let me ask you something. Coming from a newer film shooter, now that we're on the Bresson topic, how important do you think it is for us to go back and study history and study the past?
It's really important if we don't want it to go away. Right. So it's one of those things that if you don't keep it up and you don't push it to the new generation and say, you know what, this is important, this is cool, this is something that should be kept around, it's just going to go away. Right. But apparently it's been doing okay, right? You got more people interested in large format now, shooting large format photography.
That's really
well.
interesting. Yeah, even some street photographers that I've been following that are my age are switching over to a large format.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah, and because it's more about the process, and people are understanding how therapeutic it is.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like I said, that's one of the only reasons I do it.
I don't think it's going away, and I hope it doesn't. Also see the other Ilford obviously making a whole new color emotion, and all these companies as well
Right.
too. Obviously, Cinestill has been making some of their stuff. Obviously it's repackaged motion picture film, but they've kind of helped the community as well too.
At least it's there.
Yeah, at least it's there. Exactly.
Right.
I like shooting Cinestill. Some people hate it. It's up. It's all a preference. But you're seeing Ilford coming out with their color negative, which is very interesting. Completely all black and white, and they come out with a color emotion.
Well, they're trying to head off the market at the pass.
It's not my cup of tea, but
me too.
it's an option.
It's an option, and again, everybody has their thing, right?
Yeah.
My thing is I typically shoot HP5 or Kentmere.
Yeah.
In black and white. If I'm shooting color, I'll shoot Ultramax. And the reason I shoot just those and I'm not experimenting is because I can develop those to the way I want, to make it look to the way that I want.
Okay, one important question. Are you shooting the Pentax 17 or are you shooting the Rolly by Mint autofocus?
I'm shooting the Rolling, man.
Why? Tell me why.
Did you see this thing? No, I have nothing bad. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, I'm not a fan of the half frame because this is more of, I have a feeling this is more of a marketing thing. The reason being is because it's more about shooting more pictures, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because now
and
you
getting
got
the best bang for your buck.
best bang for your buck. That's 72 pictures, right?
Yeah.
But if you try to, I mean, good enough for Instagram because, you know, they're going to be small pictures. But
Right.
if you try to print this stuff, it's going to be grainy. It's
Right,
gonna
right.
Be grainy.
What do you think? Do you see other like brands, maybe like Nikon or maybe Canon, bringing some stuff back, or not?
Canon,
Maybe
you know,
few-
Canon hasn't even brought. Everybody has gotten on that old school camera tip, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Including Nikon with the ZF and the ZFC. You know,
Even Sony's
Leica.
A7C is kind of their answer
Right.
to that compact rangefinder looking style.
Right, but
yeah,
but Canon, if they come up with an AE1 like the ZF,
Yeah.
oh, they'll kill it. But for whatever reason, their marketing department is like saying, no.
they also own like 54% of the world market share. Apparently, I don't know if that's true or not. Mostly, I think that's true. But they pretty much they're like Windows. They own the world.
Yeah, they do, and nothing bad. I love their cameras. You know,
Yeah.
I shot their cameras for a long time. I shot their cameras professionally. You know, it was they're a fantastic company.
Well-
but again, that's all our personal. This, by the way, this is all our personal.
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What-
And you know, we enjoy what we enjoy. Everybody, there's a fanboy
Yeah.
for every brand that we carry in the store,
Absolutely.
right? There's a fanboy or fangirl or fan person. There's somebody who's going to think this is the best. And you know what? This is coming from experience, guys. I've shot all this stuff, and it all shoots the same. Every one of these cameras, including film cameras, are the worst because all this is a box.
Yeah.
This camera and this camera shoot the exact same picture. The exact same picture, right? There's no difference. If I put portrait in here and portrait in here, the pictures are going to look identical. The differences are going to be what? Is it going to be sharper? Is it going to be brighter? No, that's going to depend on you.
Yeah.
Right.
And obviously you're like you always used to say, you're only as good as your glasses.
Yeah. And right. And you know,
Which I've been learning so much about as well too. All these amazing glass and the history behind all this stuff. You know what I mean?
So the other elephant in the room is why would you pay $500 for this and $2,300 for this?
Exactly.
I don't know, man. When you were an adult, you could just buy stuff. This wasn't, when I was starting off, it wasn't $2,300 for me. So, but it's just laws of demand, I guess.
And one of the cool things about obviously, it's very interesting. Like some Nikon cameras hold their value very well. But the cool thing about the Leica that a lot of people don't know is that it's actually an incredible asset as well too.
Sure.
Like you've seen it retain its value throughout
Yeah, it never
time.
loses. It never loses value. The funny part is this is an original one. This is I think from the serial number, this is an early one. This is 1986 or 87.
Right.
But a brand new one is not $2,300. I was, this is one of these in mint condition, a non-TTL. For those who don't know, through the lens metering, $23.99.
Yeah.
Right, you get it on eBay, $2,400.
What's the new Leica M6? I think it's like $6,000. Yeah,
$6,000.
Right.
And guess what? It shoots the exact same picture.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. But it's you can. To me, it feels that premium, the whole premium feel. I guess it feels different. People can say you can when you push that film lever, it feels different than pushing this film lever. But I have a Nikon F2 as well, right? I have a Nikon F2 that I love very much so, just as much as this Leica.
Super clean, by the way. Yeah. Bernie always has like the cleanest gear ever. We got to do an episode of you just, hey, this is all my toys.
No, man.
No, and that's why people come in here and they want to have those conversations with you, because I feel like film is obviously alive, and I'm glad to see the resurgence of it. And you're an incredible resource here in our store because, man, you just have so much knowledge, but also there's a lot of history that you teach us.
Well, I'm here at the store to help people. I'm here to have fun.
Shout out to the community, by the way. Houston, we appreciate you so much, especially after, we just got over a hurricane. I know there's some things going on. We really appreciate y'all's support and everything y'all do.
And you film photographers out there, if you documented a barrel on film, hey man, tag us on, put it up and tag us on it. We want to see it.
Yeah, right? Absolutely, man. We could probably even share some of that work. But I feel like Bernie, like you and I, we can talk forever. Obviously with the things we really wanted to talk about, I think we kind of nailed like the importance of film, the resurgence is here to stay.
It can't go away.
Yeah,
it can't go away. If it goes away, it's letting go of our history. But we gotta tap in. Like I said, we tapped into the chemistry end of it. That can even regular C41 chemistry, black and white chemistry, all that stuff. This is where I'm going to appeal to the young folks who are going to school and who love to shoot. If you guys are in the sciences or that field of science, dude, make chemistry for photography better.
Yeah.
Make it better, man. Be the generation to say, you know what, we can keep film photography because I made this good chemistry that's not going to jack up the environment.
Usually that's how things are kept alive. Like someone always in a generation comes up with this idea to keep it alive and even better for other,
all the way around
the environment and all this other
Absolutely.
stuff. Because I personally didn't know it was actually harmful for the environment and stuff like that.
It is harmful for the environment. So anybody who says I'm going to shoot film because it's good for the environment. There's some people who think that is absolutely not true.
No, I think we can end on that note. That's really key. Keeping obviously there's some incredible, intelligent people in this world, and I have the faith that someone will come up with something. Whether if it's Kodak
I have faith in it.
or
I'm not going to
a group
stop.
of youngsters or whatever it is. There's someone out there. I think that definitely will make this happen. But man, we're gonna do more of these analog talks, and I'm really excited. We're gonna mix them up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then we're gonna have some special guests as well too, and let's see if we can take it a little bit out of these four walls here in the future. So
yeah, man, it'd be great to be on a couch and laughing with a bunch of other people.
I know. I got an idea, but man, you have anything else to say to the community out there? Or
No, man, just thanks for your support. We appreciate y'all. Come down and see us. Come talk to us. We love to see you guys coming into the store. Say hi. Just come by and say hi.
Yeah, come by, hang out with us. Have any questions? We're at 5900 Richmond Avenue. We've been here for I think over 30 years, but in existence over 50. And come by, ask for Bernie, ask for me, anyone here. There's a lot of people actually in our team that shoot analog as well too. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And for those of you who don't live in Houston, man, and you're watching us talk on YouTube, hey, give us a call. If you have any questions, talk to us. We do have a website as well.
Yeah.
HoustonCameraShoots.com.
If you have any questions, go on any of our videos and leave a comment. We're gonna definitely respond in there as well too. We appreciate y'all. If you haven't yet, man, we encourage you guys to like and subscribe. We really want to grow that online community there. But other than that, thank you so much, H-Town.
Peace.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'd love for you to visit us in store at 5900 Richmond Avenue.